this edition of Breakfast Time with Waffle and Richard. Glad to have you here after a week off. It was a busy week, but it was a fun week. Lots of milestones. We'll get into that. But Waffle, how you doing, man?
I am doing good. I am very, very good. I'm enjoying sports that are happening right now, and things are good.
Yeah. I think things are real good. Before we talk into sports, Waffle, I just want to talk about this. I was cleaning up my room and I found lots of stuff away, which is awesome. Found some games, which work in progress. But I found, and I wish I had it with me. I've left in my room, but found a ticket from Warped Tour.
Oh,
I think
wow.
we were in high school. I think
Yeah.
the first time we went, and I just started thinking about Warped Tour on my drive home the other day from somewhere. And all I can think about was, man, we really stood out there at 10 a.m.
Yes.
in 90-degree weather in a parking lot to see Chelsea grin to start off the day. Like,
I think it was the summer after we graduated high school.
Yeah.
Was the first time we went.
yeah,
And yes, we drove to Charlotte and stood out there for God knows how long, so long, and finally got in just to get a mad dash to find a schedule of who's playing when and where.
yeah.
And then we made it. We were like front row or second row for Chelsea Grin at 11 in the morning. And let me tell you, that's a heck of a way to wake up. You weren't awake then. You were definitely awake after 4 seconds of them playing. But
Yeah.
what an exhausting day. And then we, had a great time. And we went to stopped in Gastonia at Five Guys.
Yeah. We tried to find the cookout and couldn't find it.
Yeah. Couldn't find the cookout, settled for Five Guys. I guess it's not necessarily a bad thing.
I guess so,
for Five Guys, but gorged ourselves, went home, ended the day pretty happy, albeit very tired.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It had to be the next one because we went twice. We went 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And one year I sprained my ankle.
Oh,
3 days before we went.
Yeah.
And I think that was the second year.
Yeah.
Maybe. I can't remember, but and
You
that
like
sucked.
And I was like, how are you walking? You're like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, that sucked. But
I was also thinking about how, like, one, I understand why I stopped it because there's no way that's financially feasible. We paid $36 to see 60 bands. There's no way that makes sense.
There's so many people. There's so many bands there.
Yeah. And then also, my body could not do that right now. It barely did in high school. I could not go out there and stand out there for 8 hours watching all those bands.
Festival life ain't for me. I can hardly do a regular show anymore, but like, good grief, a festival? No, sir.
I've seen the meme where it's like when you're in your late 20s, early 30s, and the headliner finally comes on, it shows someone just panting in the corner, like, oh god. I'm like, that's me. That's me at every concert now.
Yep.
That would be me at Warped Tour constantly. Yeah, that was just a random memory I thought of, and I was like, God, what a crazy festival! What a crazy time to be alive.
Good times.
Man, so we'll roll on into sports, and of course, as everybody knows, NBA playoffs are rolling. And when we left, I believe was the night I was watching the Timberwolves and Grizzlies, the game where John Morant hits the game winner to end it, then had the dunk over Malik Beasley. I think we saw me react to that live on here.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
if you watched it, and so that game was insane. And then the Grizzlies end up ending that series and taking home the win. And I believe in 3 of the 4 wins, the Grizzlies came from behind by like more than 20 points to win that entire series, which is just insane.
Yep.
But man, what an insane series for the Grizzlies to close it out against a team that gave them struggle all year long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. That series was highly contested and annoying. I mean, God bless. I cannot stand Karl-Anthony Towns, but it is what it is. He's still a good player, but God, he gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
But Memphis showed a lot of heart. I mean, that game where Minnesota blew 2 20-point leads. We talked about it already, but like that game was unbelievable. And Memphis is showing you how gritty they are, and they truly never gave up. And like, they won this series 4-2, but did they ever, Did they play to their full potential? No. I don't think they did because they came from behind all the time, and not knocking Minnesota, very good team, just young, very young, and tons of talent. They're just not too smart right now, which Charles Barkley said that on Inside the NBA, which I thought was a great way to put it. But then Memphis comes out now facing Golden State, a team that's been here before, and boy, this series has been fun. Let's just say that it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, just the drama. I feel like I saw somebody say whoever wrote this series knew what they were doing because it's been fun. Currently, let's go back. First game, banger, 117-116 in Memphis. Ja Morant gets a look at the buzzer but can't get to go in. An incredible game. Steph Curry hit a clutch shot at the end to close it out. Jordan Poole had 31 points in that game as well. That was also the game where Draymond Green got ejected for I'll say I don't think he deserved to be ejected for that.
No, it's not a it's a flagrant one, but it's not a flagrant two. No.
It looked like he was trying to save Brandon Clark from hitting his head or say my bad. So I don't know where the flagrant two came for on that one because
I'll never get that. And a lot of it, honestly, it has to do with his reputation as terrible as that is. Like, I mean, the reputation that, he has over his career in the NBA, like him, another one that comes to mind would be like DeMarcus Cousins. Like they're going to get those calls.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Beverly, who you saw.
Yeah, more often than not. So, and that's a victim of circumstance, but that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that was a heck of a game. Actually, Klay Thompson hit that for Gray at the end to give the Warriors the win with 30 seconds left. And then, of course, Ja Morant gets a good look but could not make the winning shot. Still at 34 points on 14 of 31 shooting. Memphis shot 40% from three in that game, which is insane. So heck of a game. Next game in Memphis, Grizzlies take the win 106-101. Ja Morant drops 47 points.
Yeah, he put the team on his back. That is for sure.
Went out there. It was also a poor shooting night for the Warriors, just 18% from the three-point arc. Curry had 27 points. That's their leading scorer. So it's not a great night. Still, we're in it, though, because there's the talent level that team has. And, again, that's without Draymond Green because he was suspended for this game. This was a fun game to watch if you're a Ja Morant fan. He also, again, got hit and punched in the eye on accident on a rebound. This has been a physical series, too. And
Draymond Green played this game. He did play. Yeah. He played 32 minutes in this game.
That's right.
But this is the game where Dylan Brooks from Memphis got ejected on a flagrant two, which is deserved. I mean, I don't think it was anything malicious, but Dylan Brooks, I mean, obviously the contact to the head is enough to get him the flagrant two, and it just victim of circumstance. I hate it for Gary Payton, but after the club to the head, Gary Payton came down, got hurt. Now he's out for, probably, I guess, the remainder of the playoffs, which sucks. I hate that. But not having Dylan in there, Ja put the team on his back. Tillman had 7. Jaren Jackson Jr. had less points than shots taken, which is never great.
Yeah.
And Desmond Bane, battling some back trouble, only had 5. But Ja Morant with 47 was enough, especially when the Warriors, Klay Thompson shot very poorly, had 5 of 19 from the floor, and Draymond Green didn't contribute a whole lot of points as well, and they didn't get too much out of their bench either. So Ja Morant did enough, and that was the story of game 2.
Yeah, for sure. Game 3, it moves back to San Francisco, or moves San Francisco first time, and the Warriors just could not miss.
Yeah.
142-112 was the final. By the way, this is also the game where Jordan Poole gets fouls on Ja Morant. Ja Morant had to leave, of course, with an injury, which is now more serious than he thought. This is also a game as well where Kyle Anderson got ejected. Draymond Green got into the refs at one point. So it was just a wild game, physical game. But, I mean, Golden State shot 62.4% from the field in this game and 53% from three. I don't care who you are. There's no chance of beating them. The Grizzlies still shot 43% from the field.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they were struggling. It was
Right.
the game, but it was just those classic Warriors Splash Brothers games where nobody can miss. I mean, when Curry has 30, Thompson at 21, Poole had 27 off the bench, Kuminga had 18. That's how you know it's going to be a struggle when he's going. Wiggins at 17, and even Draymond Green only had 5 points, still had 8 assists and 5 rebounds. So this is just a tough game, the kind of game you got put out your head. And of course, unfortunately, with John Morant getting hurt, that rolls into the next game.
Yeah, for sure. John Morant still had a very good game. He dropped 34, did get hurt at the end. Obviously, the biggest storyline coming out of this game was, the stuff after the game. Taylor Jenkins calling out kind of Jordan Poole, calling out the Warriors for for that being a dirty play. John Morant putting the whole broke the code thing like Draymond was talking about after game one, which there's hypocritical statements on both sides. But just Draymond comes out after game one, game two, when Dylan Brooks, clubbed Gary Payton II. And just he said that there's a code. You broke the code, and coming from somebody like Draymond, like, come on, bro, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. You literally just got a flagrant 2 and it got ejected. Like, the last person that needs to be saying that is you. If somebody like Steph Curry would have said it, I'd have been like, yeah, you know what, he's right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, Draymond's right. There is a code. There's certain stuff that you feel you shouldn't do. But then John Morant fires back with accusing Jordan Poole of breaking the code, and I really don't see anything there. I just think that it wasn't necessarily a play on the ball, but I don't think there's any malicious intent there. No matter what, everybody wants to take a side and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, John, there were plenty of other moments, including one where he flew into Klay Thompson with his right knee, where John Morant could have, gotten hurt and gotten and they've officially ruled it as a bone bruise. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
So, obviously it doesn't mean that he's going to be playing, but it's not a torn ligament or anything, which is good. But
yeah.
Anyway, so that was the biggest story out of game 3, other than the Warriors shooting the freaking lights out in at the Chase Center. So
that was wild. Weird. And then of course you go from that to, first of all, before the last game that happened, John Morant and Jordan Poole did shake hands before the game, so hopefully they're all good there.
Yeah.
But this game, before it even starts, no Steve Kerr. He's in COVID protocols.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, which is wild. About this late in 2022, when
I know
he is vaccinated. He said it. Which
I posted on Facebook that I couldn't believe he was missing a game due to COVID, because I thought that wasn't a real thing anymore, which is obviously a joke. I'm not an idiot, but still, like, it is kind of wild now that,
still got people that can miss.
It's still happening, because it really hasn't. Either they just stopped talking about it, or it's just not happening as much anymore. So I think a lot of people are vaccinated, at least now. So I guess that's why it's not talked about as much. But that notification came across my phone, and I was like, what? What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So know him. And who's the coach? Mike Brown?
Mike Brown, former head coach of the Kings. And also he coached the title run 5 years ago when Steve Kerr had to leave because of sickness when he had cancer, I believe. This game, back and forth, no John Morant, but didn't matter for the Grizzlies. They looked pretty good. Tyus Jones had 19. Jaren Jackson had 21, but still only 7 of 21 shooting and 0 for 7 from deep. This game was ugly, by the way, though. Nobody could shoot. It was a classic grit and grind game. And back in the day when the Grizzlies were like good, would get to the playoffs, but wouldn't be like a team you think would make a run, and everybody was forced to watch the grit and grind teams, it was hilarious because people were like, oh, God, this is what?
Right.
And now that brought me back to those days of people going, oh, my God, this is a real basketball game happening in the year of our Lord 2022. And it's like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. I was waiting for Zach Randolph and Tony Allen to appear.
Yeah.
Bench for this one.
Tony Allen to come out slapping the floor, first team all defense, and Zach Randolph to do some stupid fadeaway move that has no business being as good as it is. And it just goes right in.
Yeah, goes in, and Rudy Gay, primetime Rudy Gay coming in, making the 2 threes a game that the Grizzlies make back in that time.
Mike Conley driving the middle of the lane and being a left-handed player shooting a floater with his right hand that looks absolutely natural. Ridiculous.
Yeah, this game was back and forth. Grizzlies got a lead, and but then Steph Curry down the stretch, 8 free throws in the last 45 seconds, had 32 points, and had 8 assists as well. Curry took over, and you've kind of been waiting for him to do that. He really hasn't done a whole lot of that in the playoffs. I feel like where it's just Curry time takes over. It's kind of been like Jordan Poole's doing his thing, Klay Thompson's doing his thing. It's kind of a team effort. This was the one I feel like they felt like without their coach, it's kind of like someone's got to take over. And Steph Curry, who's one of the best in the league, did that, took over, and was able to pull them in, come back, and get the win on this one. And as we talked about, Dylan Brooks making one of the dumbest decisions of all time with taking a 3 up by 2 with less than a minute left. No clue.
I don't know. Dylan Brooks is like,
it's frustrating.
I don't know. Like somebody put it. I think it was Molly Morrison. From Twitter. She runs the Made in Memphis account, which obviously, if you're a Grizzly fan, I think you know about that. But if you don't, you should follow it. I think it's a good account anyway. If you're just a basketball fan, but
yeah,
she put out something like a yelling no when Dylan shoots a 3 and then it goes in. It's just the Dylan Brooks experience, and I thought that was perfect.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of that Clemson Milton Jennings.
Oh yeah,
that name.
Yeah,
that man will either have like, all right, it's the greatest game ever, or it's like it's Milton Jennings time, quoted by Milton Jennings, and he'd have like 2 points. And so I feel like Dylan Brooks wants to take over sometimes, and he probably should be the guy taking over if you in a realistic world, but it's like, I don't know if you're that guy right now that needs to take over with Ja out.
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like you got Jaren, you got Tyus.
He just needs to put more freaking shots in next game.
Exactly.
That's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to go 5 of 19. He needs to go 8 of 14.
Exactly. So Grizzlies are on the end, down 3-1. I mean, you can make the 3-1 jokes about the Warriors. We get that, but I mean, this is still a very good Warriors team, and without Ja Morant. Again, Grizzlies are fine without Ja Morant. They had a great record without him in the regular season.
Yep.
This is a different kind of animal, however, as you know, it's playoffs, Warriors. I'd love to see them, force this out to a game 7. It would be great, but it's going to be a tough one for sure.
Yes, it's going to be tough. If somehow, by the grace of God, they force a game 7, boy, FedEx Forum is going to be unreal. The atmosphere. I don't know. I really don't think it's going to happen. I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope that they can at least come back to Memphis and take another game.
Yeah.
The
good news is the next game is in Memphis, so get that advantage for you.
Yeah.
The only game you lost there was a buzzer beater by the last second shot by Klay Thompson. So
and Steven Adams is back, which is nice. He pulled down 15 rebounds in this last game, and Memphis was right there. Memphis was 1 or 2 bad shots away from winning this game. This was a very winnable game. So I mean, I have the utmost confidence that the Grizzlies without Ja Morant can beat the Warriors 3 times in a row, but obviously it's going to be very hard. And this is the playoffs. It's not just some run-of-the-mill game.
Right.
So we'll see.
All right. So that'll conclude Grizzlies talk. Let's go to the other playoff games. We'll start off with games that's just tipped off. Game 5. The Heat and the 76ers. Right now in the first, the Heat are up 18-10 on that one early down in Miami. This one started off looking like it was going to be a rout. The Heat rolled 106-92 in game 1 and then won 119-103 in game 2. So you're thinking, okay, this is probably going to be it. The Heat are going to roll. But then game 3, Joel Embiid's back.
Mm-hmm.
And man, he's all the difference. 76ers roll 99-79. They hold. Jimmy Butler had 33 points, but he was the only star in double digits. The only one playing double digits was Tyler Hero had 14.
Yeah. What about freaking James Harden? Dialing back the clock just a little bit. I still think James Harden is obviously still could be really, really good. Yeah. But going 6 of 10 from deep for James Harden was massive, and he hit some big ones down the stretch.
Yeah.
It was good to see him do that. Maybe that's the catalyst that'll get him kind of back in his groove, because I mean, if he plays to his utmost potential with Joel Embiid, that elevates the 76ers to, probably the best team in the East. I mean, honestly, as far as if they play as dominant, I'll stand by that statement that, if James Harden throws back the clock 5 years, that they're going to be freaking nasty. And I don't know if anybody's going to beat them.
Yeah, for sure. I was the one at 16-108 win. So taking both games, and both home teams have won both these games, or both their games so far. And right now, Miami's up by 11 early in this one down in Miami. Jimmy Butler, though, has gone off this series.
I freaking love Jimmy Butler.
40 points in that loss, 12-13 from free throw line, 13-20 from the field. But, man, someone else has got to step up for the Heat because, like I said, if Harden and Embiid can finally get that going with the way Tyrese Maxey's been playing,
right,
that's a three-headed monster. And, either Bam's got to step up, Hero's got to turn back the clock to that bubble magic he had.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to step up for the Heat to kind of pull away and end the series if they can.
Mm-hmm.
Which it looks like. Let's go to the box score tonight. So far, Jimmy Butler's got 9 points. Now, Struss does have 8. Starting off early. So if he can keep that up, 2 for 4 from deep. So if he can keep that up, be the kind of the second guy for Jimmy, then there is a chance for them. Speaking of Joel Embiid, we'll talk NBA MVP award. It went to Jokic for the second straight season. And, it's kind of interesting, kind of in the bias. Some people say Jokic should have got it. Some people say Embiid. There are some, of course, you can say for Devin Booker, also up there in that conversation. But Waff, do you think they got it right with Jokic winning the award?
Yes. Oh, man.
It's a tough one because I feel like he does deserve it because he's played so well. But if you look at most valuable with that phrase, without Joel Embiid, I don't know how far the Sixers are going. Because you saw it in the first 2 games of the series against Miami. Without him, they struggled. They couldn't get anything going. James Harden, couldn't get anything going.
Yeah.
And plus, Joel Embiid is a guy to kind of do all around. He can step back and shoot threes. He can guard some guards. Plus, he's been doing this all while just absolutely banged up.
Yeah.
And again, you don't take playoffs into account. I get it. It's regular season award. But it still did that in the regular season dealing with all the Ben Simmons drama. And whether or not he's going to play, what's going to happen with him.
Yeah.
And having to deal with James Harden drama because James Harden kind of brings out when he comes in at times.
Right.
And I think there's a case for Joel Embiid, but I think Jokic did play just a little bit better. But I think if you look at the definition of most valuable, I think Joel Embiid's that definition for sure.
I would argue the same argument, but for Jokic.
That's true.
Just, take Jokic off of Denver, and with Jamal Murray hurt, are they a playoff team?
That's true. They barely got in and then didn't do much against the Warriors.
And Jokic is so special. I'm looking at stat comparisons, got all their stats side by side. And for one, I'm perplexed. I need to see a little bit more in-depth stats, but on the season, now I don't know if this is through the playoffs or not.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I would imagine not. Let's just say it's not. Total points. Joel Embiid finished, let's say, the regular season with 2,079 points. So 2,079 points. And Jokic finished right above 2004 points. But Joel Embiid attempted 803 free throws and made 654 of them. Jokic only made 379 free throws. So that's on almost 300-point difference right there. That where does Jokic make up that difference?
Yeah.
He's made more. I'm guessing he's made more 3-pointers, I assume. And he's made more baskets overall, but it's not that big of a margin. It's a margin of 98. So I don't know why that's blowing my mind. It's crazy. But Jokic does so. You look at the assists. I mean, Jokic has over 1,000 rebounds, Over 2,000 points. He has 584 assists to 280 turnovers. I mean, that's almost a 2-to-1. That is a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, which is very good. Yeah, I mean, Jokic just does it all. He's a 7-foot point guard.
Yeah.
And he can lead you. Both players are great, but I still would argue Jokic. I mean, I don't know. It's tough.
And going with your stat line too, if you look at the team leaders for the Nuggets in the regular season, every single stat Nikola Jokic leads them in. Points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. He really is all around, so I get that as well. I think, Devin Booker kind of got brought up, but it's also like they had Chris Paul too, and we talked about the Suns are kind of like that well-oiled, anyone can really give it to you.
Yeah.
Machine.
Uh-huh. Oh, what else was I gonna say? Oh, all right. So here's my take on Embiid. And I don't really know how this is gonna go over. I mean, we have a couple friends who are big 76er fans, but I don't like Joel Embiid, and I really don't like saying that. I do like him, but please explain to me that there's just a feeling inside of me where I watched that Kawhi Leonard shot that broke the Sixers' heart.
Yeah.
And I just it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. Like I'm glad that happened to them. And I can't explain why I feel that way. And I feel like it's just because like Joel Embiid is a cool person and he's a jokester. And I just feel like he doesn't take it serious, but he does. And then he cries after that shot goes in, and he cries like a baby, which fine. He's passionate, but at the same time, like I just feel like he's going to go down as a Hall of Fame player that's going to have absolutely nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
As far as like a ring, I just have this feeling that he's never going to get one. And part of me wants that. I don't know. It's odd. I don't know. That's just my take on Embiid. I think he's a great player, and I think he'll eventually come away with like an MVP. But he's coming through a time where there's a guy like Jokic. There's obviously Giannis Antetokounmpo in the same conference. You got rising stars like Ja and people like Devin Booker and all them. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my Joel Embiid take.
No, I can see that. I can see that for sure. I can see me like a Charles Barkley in Philadelphia and helps a lot and just couldn't win a ring. So
yeah, a heck of a player, and tried. I feel like Joel Embiid could have that career, staying. Barkley was a Sixer, and then he was a Sun, and he ended up in Houston too. He ended up in Houston chasing rings, and they couldn't win one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
So yeah, interesting to see how that career plays out. But yeah, I can get the frustration for sure from both sides.
Yeah,
that one. Moving on, next game. Speaking of the Suns, we talked about Suns and the Mavs are playing Game 5 tonight. That one's tied at 2 apiece as well. There's no, I believe it's Devin Booker. No, Devin Booker's back.
He's back.
So he'll be back for this one, which is big for the Suns. Looking at the series, it's been like the Heat and the Sixers. You had the Suns won the first 2 back in Phoenix, and the Mavs won the last 2 in Dallas. So none of these have really been close. 121-114 was the first game score, so that was the closest game. Last game, 111-101. I mean, the Suns got called for a ton of fouls too. And Chris Paul had a weird had a foul. But again, I'm all live for all the Chris Paul slander, so I'm fine with it.
I love Chris Paul. I'm a big Chris Paul guy.
Yeah. But no, he fouls out early. Kind of Luka showing him hey, I can draw fouls too. But yeah, this has been kind of a back and forth series. It's been also kind of a physical one as well. And it's kind of interesting to see again. We talked about Dallas in the Jazz series without Luka. Those games were kind of close, and then when he came back, they won by 20 back-to-back games to end the series. So this is a completely different team with Luka's on the floor.
Sorry. Yes, I agree. A lot of people have been saying that it really doesn't matter how good the Warriors Grizzlies series is. It's just because they're going to go on and play the Suns and they're going to lose. But I mean, Dallas has played very well, and I love Luka Doncic. Doncic is unreal, and such a good player, and he makes a world of a difference. But we'll see with Devin Booker being back and them back in Phoenix. It should be a really good game tonight. But 10:00 Eastern, no thanks.
Yeah, no fun. Those are not fun. That's why I'm like, great Grizzlies. It's like, y'all got the San Francisco.
I know, my God. I'll see you at halftime, and then I'll be nodding off.
How do we trade like the Hornets to the West and make them play all the late games, and the Grizzlies to the East? How is that?
I am 100% in favor of that.
Hornets just moved to Seattle, and you're good.
Yeah, I mean, we just got to is Memphis really? Is Memphis the easternmost West team? Yes, they have to be.
Yeah, it's either them, Minnesota, or
who is the westernmost Eastern team? We just need to swap. Like maybe is Chicago? No, Chicago's more east than Memphis.
Maybe
no, Milwaukee's kind of right there with Chicago.
Detroit?
No, Detroit's even more east.
Indiana. It's probably Indiana.
No, that's even more east.
Milwaukee.
Nope. Milwaukee's right on line with Chicago.
Yeah. It's really not a whole lot.
Well, okay. Well, technically New Orleans is more eastern than Memphis. So
move New Orleans keep New Orleans in the West, move Memphis to the East, to have it unbalanced for some reason. And then give Seattle a team back, and there you go. It works perfectly. Or Las Vegas, one of those.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Las Vegas, I don't know how we haven't mentioned this because I was thinking of the Kings wanting to move there. Did you see Steph Curry say he felt like he played for the Sacramento Kings?
Yes, oh my God. So funny.
The Kings can't make the playoffs, and they're still catching strays. It's
please, okay, you know what? For Mike Brown's sake, he just got the Kings job, and he's relishing in these last few moments with the Warriors. You know what? Please send him out on top because he's going to be in hell for the next 2 years before he inevitably gets fired because nobody can turn that franchise around.
When he gets fired 28 games into the second year there, then it's going to happen. I mean,
it's going to be terrible. It's so bad. That city, God, that city. Who do they pull for in college? It's got to be what? Cal, Berkeley?
Probably.
It's got to be. I mean, Cal's in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who do they pull for in college? Maybe it's like
Sacramento State.
Well, okay, yeah. Other than that,
that's about all I can think of.
Is Sacramento State, Cal State, Sacramento?
I think so, maybe.
I don't know. Sorry, that's random. We're getting off topic, but that's the name of the game in this show. We don't care.
Absolutely. Colleges and Sacramento.
Where is Stanford?
Where's Palo Alto? I have no clue. Okay, it looks like UC Davis is near there.
Okay, Palo Alto is below San Francisco. Okay, I had no idea that's where it was.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
this is not a real school. Sorry, Epic Bible College.
Oh Lord, heck school. Yeah.
That's not a real school.
What do they play? Bible drill?
I'll have a graduation rate of 16%.
Ew.
Oh.
Is it hard?
I don't know.
Is it that hard?
I have no clue. This doesn't seem like a real school. I don't think this is real. It's probably like one of those schools you pay money. It's like a ITC Tech or something.
Yeah, for Christians, it's just gotta be.
Oh man, yeah, that's okay. I'm very confused. I'm about to go down a rabbit hole if I do. This all looks like a bunch of church stuff, which again, Epic Bible College, but still,
they have a University of Phoenix.
All right, there you go.
Huh.
There you go. So yeah, that's what you got.
Alliance Alliant International University.
If we combine the towns of Sacramento and Oakland, we can get one big sad city.
Oh, they have a University of San Francisco Sacramento campus. So the Dons.
There you go. They made the tournament. There you go.
Honorary fans of the Dons. I mean,
There
that's one good thing, I guess. Interesting.
I think Sacramento State made the FCS playoffs one year. I think they got murdered in the first round, but I think they made it one year. So
well, good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Final series of the playoffs. This has been a really good one. The Bucks and the Celtics. It's been back and forth, literally. The first game was a blowout win for the Bucks in the Garden and a blowout win for the Celtics. Then it went to Milwaukee. Bucks and went at 103-101. And then last night, 116-108. Al Horford turning back the clock.
Yeah, what? Where did that come from?
No clue.
He got dunked on by what? Giannis dunked on him, and then Al Horford's wife posted something after the game, like with Al Horford looking at him like, and she was like, "I know that look. That's when that's when he changed. Giannis knew he messed up, and I'm just like, this is Al Horford we're talking about. What? This man ain't got that in him anymore. But I was wrong. I was wrong.
Yeah, Al Horford had 30 points, 5 of 7 from deep, 11 of 14 from the field,
man,
8 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block. Took over this game. Jason Tatum still had 30 points too. He had double-double.
You talk about somebody turning back the clock.
Yeah, but Al Horford.
That's what James Harden needs to do. Al Horford just played like he was an Atlanta Hawk again.
Yeah, Big Al, just unreal to see that in 2022. I had a friend who said that. He said that, man, I think Al Horford's been playing since I was in second grade. It's like, oh my God, he has been playing since I was in second grade.
Yeah.
Like Al Horford's been around for a while. People forget that. And
he was on the Florida teams that won national titles with Joakim Noah and Corey Brewer.
Yep. Al Horford was drafted in 2007 as the third pick of the NBA draft for the Hawks. So
we were 11.
Yeah. This man has been doing this for a while, and he took over.
Yeah, my God.
Yeah. He still averaged 10 points a game in the regular season. That's nuts. That's solid production from him. Playing in the league for 15 years.
But what's lost on me, I vividly remember his time in Atlanta because they were good. They had a young, scrappy team, and they were always, challenging. They were up there with Miami.
Oh,
and Cleveland when LeBron was there and blah, blah, blah.
ISO Joe, Horford, all of them.
Yeah. And then I remember his time with the Celtics, his first stint. Mm-hmm. I remember he left Atlanta and went there. I remember the 1 year in Philadelphia because that was that not the year when Kawhi Leonard hit the shot?
Yep.
I think.
2019, yep.
Maybe, I don't know. And then Oklahoma. I have no recollection of last year.
No clue. Do not.
I know not a thing about what he did in Oklahoma City.
Could not tell you in a heartbeat. I looked at that. All he did was, okay, so it looks like December 8th he got traded, and then March 27th he set out the rest of the season. To develop its younger players, including Moses Brown, Isaiah Roby, and Tony Bradley.
All right.
What a trio. And then he got traded. Horford with Moses Brown.
Yeah.
Or exchange for Kemba Walker. That's a guy who's fallen off the face of the earth.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, which sucks. Kemba was a stud in Charlotte and then went to Boston, rightfully so, because Charlotte didn't want to pay him.
Right.
And has done nothing.
Yep, and it's been all downhill from there.
Yeah. God. He's a New York Knick. I forgot about that.
Ew.
Ugh. Yeah. He didn't even play with the Thunder. He got released.
Right.
Yikes. That's sad. That's very sad.
Is.
I don't think he can come back. The guy, I forget, Kemba Walker was on that 2011 Bobcat team.
Yeah.
Yes. That man's career started in hell. He crawled the way out of hell. And now he's right back in it.
Yep.
Like, God, that sucks.
Sad.
So much. But yeah, no, this Bucks Celtics series has been very entertaining. I feel like the Celtics, no matter who they play, it's always entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you talked about that Nets series as well. Giannis is doing his thing though. He is still going off. He had 34 points the other night.
Yeah.
0 for 4 from 3, but I mean, he can do whatever he wants really inside at times. Don't really. Again, it does feel like someone does need to step up. And sorry, I saw Drew Holiday's name. I saw a tweet that says, "Why Drew Holiday got all the muscles? He has no reason to have that many muscles." And I'm like, God, you're right.
Drew Holiday's underrated. Drew Holiday
Drew Holiday's
is the reason Milwaukee has a championship.
Yeah, for sure.
Fight me if you disagree.
Yeah,
he was the missing piece, and I called it.
You did.
I promise you, I called it because I said that Milwaukee should go get a true point guard when they were doing that before they got Drew Holiday. And I was like, they need to go get Chris Paul. And I wish they would have. That'd have been cool. But they got somebody that I didn't even think about, Drew Holiday. Mm-hmm. And it worked.
Yep. Well, I did not realize Grayson Allen started this game.
Yes.
That's interesting. Pat Connaughton played 30 minutes off the bench too with 11 points. Kind of cool to see him.
I respect Pat Connaughton a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I usually hate Notre Dame people, but
no, he's a solid player.
I respect him.
He's a heck of a baseball player too, which is wild.
Right.
He's like it's like Hayden Hurst.
Shut up. I knew it. My God, I knew it. I thought about saying that. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to say that. God bless. I knew it was coming.
When he got drafted, I was sitting there watching it, and they said he's also drafted in a Major League Baseball draft. I was laughing every game, every South Carolina game on ESPN.
So sick of that.
He was drafted in baseball. We all know. He played there for 4 years. We knew he was drafted.
Dang it.
Oh my God, that's the one. That one and the addition of Dallas when he coached to Alabama were the two funniest ones for a while there. Kept showing up at every Clemson Carolina game.
No, the other one was hey, you know Jake Bentley's supposed to be a senior in high school.
Oh my God, no.
He's supposed to be a senior in high school. That and also Joey Pancake for the baseball team. Hey, did you know Joey Pancake hit a home run on National Pancake Day? God bless.
Yeah,
so many times.
God, that one. God, it's like we get it. Shut up. Yeah, so that's your NBA playoffs. Looking at the Heat are up 36-22 on the Sixers in the second of that one. So Heat taking care of business right now, but still plenty of time there. Waff, let's talk hockey for the first time ever on this show.
All right.
This is the only time. Is this the only time you watch hockey, Waff? Because I think it is for me too.
It 100% is, but I will tell you that I do enjoy hockey.
Oh, absolutely.
I very much enjoy it. Now, are you going to catch me watching a regular season game? It's doubtful.
Yeah.
But I do like hockey.
Yeah.
And playoff hockey is unmatched.
Oh, it's
and considering the fact that Memphis is, in the playoffs and there's been high drama for basketball, I've been really focused on the NBA playoffs, so I haven't been able to. Well, I haven't put a lot of focus on the NHL playoffs. But like once they start whittling it down, especially the Stanley Cup Finals are immaculate. It's always great.
It's the greatest playoffs of any sport, bar none.
I would agree. I think it's awesome.
Like it is.
And all the traditions and the obviously the Stanley Cup itself is beautiful and everybody gets their name on it. No other trophy does that.
Mm-hmm.
No other sport has something that means as much, unless you might could say some of the golf trophies.
Yeah,
like the claret jug and all this kind of stuff. But
team sports, this is the biggest team trophy.
Yeah.
For sure. So looking through playoffs, only one series has ended in the first round, I believe. Yeah. Yes, and that was the Colorado Avalanche sweep the Nashville Predators.
Yeah.
This was domination.
Yes, it was.
The scores of these read like football games. Some of them 7-2. That game was 5-0 at the end of the first period. 2-1. That's the only close game. 7-3, 5-3.
Yeah.
Avalanche, I believe, who are the number one seed in the West. I know they won the division at 56-19, so
yeah,
they gotta be up there. They just dominated the Preds, which again, not far removed from the Preds making a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I mean Nashville Nashville was a kind of bottom feeder franchise for a while. Like I remember playing, back in the day when we used to have the hockey games like NHL Hits, and I had like NHL 2006, and like the Preds were trash, and like so that used to be the go-to team to play against because being a kid, whatever, and then they had that improbable run in 2017 when they had Subban and made it all the way to the Stanley Cups, ultimately lose to, what was it, the Penguins, I think?
I think the Penguins that year beat them.
But, and then since then, it's like they tried to recapture that and they failed every year.
Yeah, they just can't kind of get that magic going, which is kind of cool to see Southern hockey teams do so well. I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning really well recently.
I'm not if I had to pick a hockey team, I probably should have picked Nashville because I'm a Tennessee Titan fan. I thought it would make sense because ever since 2017, I mean, that city has embraced the Predators big time. And like they have great crowds. And they show out the Bridgestone Arena and they have the whole Smashville thing. And like, I feel like it has a really good following. It's got a really good following. But it's just that they just haven't been able to recapture it.
Yeah. So looking at the playoffs, like we said, it's the best one. All these series left are tied at 2 apiece, except for Pittsburgh and the Rangers.
Yeah.
That's 3-1. And that first game with the double OT or 3 overtimes in the first game. So that's just how good this has been. Tonight, right now, Carolina and Boston, the Hurricanes are up 2-0 in the second period. That's another team that's kind of come back out of nowhere. Because Carolina, remember, they won the Stanley Cup in 2006, then did nothing.
Yeah, well, that was a lockout shortened year, I think.
Yeah, came back, did nothing, and then finally a few years ago before COVID, got back, made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, lost the finals. Since then, big competitors, so kind of cool to see them do so well. Tampa Bay and Toronto, that was tied too. Tampa Bay's up 2-0 in the first. I feel like, isn't it Toronto that hasn't advanced past the first round in like 40 years or something like that?
I believe so. It's been like a cycle of misery.
Yeah, like they get to the playoffs, or like they have even if they have a 1 seed, it's like, nope, you're done. Goodbye.
They remind me a lot of the Jets in football. Like, they had like the Jets had those years with Rex Ryan where they made it to the AFC Championship game, but outside of that, in the past 20-25 years, they haven't sniffed anything. And they've been perpetually bad, and Toronto has been perpetually bad in hockey for a while until recently. Last like 5 years they started to pick up some steam, but obviously they still have not been able to get over that hump. So
the Maple Leafs have not won a playoff series since the 2004 season, actually.
Wow.
They won the first round over the Senators 4-3, but they lost in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Then they didn't make the playoffs again until 2012.
Yeah.
And they have lost in the first round every single year since then. So they have made it. So, and they have made the playoffs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God, they've made the playoffs 6 years in a row. And they have lost with like 1 game. They have lost in an elimination game, final game, every single time except for once. They lost 4-2, and they lost 4-2 to the Capitals in 2016. Since then, it's been 4-3, 4-3, 3-2 in that 2020 COVID season. It was 5 games, and then 4-3 last year. So, they were first in their division last year too. That sucks.
Yeah,
they have gone through it. The Maple Leafs. When have they won? Have they ever won a title? There has to be like way back.
If so, it's got to be way back in the day because they're one of the original ones, right?
Yeah, 1967 was their last Stanley Cup final.
Yeah. So they're kind of like the Cubs.
Yeah.
Ish. sort of. I mean, Cubs obviously over 100 years, drastic, but the Cubs or maybe like the Bengals, like just winning a playoff game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the last time they've made a Stanley Cup final, too, because they have made it to the Western Conference Finals plenty of times and haven't won it. Or Eastern Conference Finals, excuse me, haven't won it. So, yeah, that is misery right there.
Yeah.
I also have St. Louis and Minnesota, the Wild and the Blues tied at 2. Your Minnesota Wild, Waffle?
Yes, I am a self-proclaimed Minnesota Wild fan. I couldn't tell you why. I really don't know.
I feel like it's from like one of the NHL games you played with them and like got really good at that. I remember one year you played with them on like an NHL video game and was really good with them, and that's why I think you picked them. Like,
yes,
in all honesty.
Yes. When I was a senior in high school, I had, which was 2014. The only NHL game I had was NHL 12, which had a great soundtrack. It had a song by Anthrax on there, and I used to just. It had like two metal songs, and it was like an Anthrax song, and the other band was like, I can't remember, but I used to cut off the rest of the songs and just play both of those songs. So like every time I hear that Anthrax song, I think of that game, and it just takes me back to a better time, and I love that. But I was like 78 and 2 in a regular season.
Yeah.
Like it was something ridiculous because I played on rookie mode because I didn't want to lose. And whatever. But Minnesota has a great logo. I think the Minnesota Wild's logo is fantastic. I love that logo. And the color scheme is amazing as well. But for some reason with me, I feel like I'm just attracted to teams that I feel like have promise, but they don't really go anywhere. Because, I mean, you could say that about Tennessee. Like, I mean, obviously, a lot of promise, lately, and it never really went anywhere. And the whole reason I'm a Titans fan is because of Vince Young. A lot of promise. Did it go anywhere? No. Memphis, grit and grind Grizzlies. A lot of promise. Did it go anywhere? No. Braves finally paid off, I guess. South Carolina, I don't even want to talk about that. And then Duke basketball. Okay, that was kind of a cop-out. But anyway, Minnesota, my Minnesota Wild. I feel like the Minnesota Wild are exactly like their football counterpart, the Minnesota Vikings. Like the Minnesota Wild, in the years that I've been a self-proclaimed Wild fan, let's just say in the past 10 years. Since 2012. Let's just go there. Minnesota's been decent. They've made the playoffs a handful of times, won a series or two here and there. But I've never been able to put it together. And they had Zach Parise and Ryan Suter signed to massive contracts, and that never panned out.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're just kind of here, which is a lot like the Vikings. Like the Vikings have had some good seasons, and they've made the playoffs a number of times, and they've had some great games, and they've had some great victories, but they've never put it together, and they're just stuck in an endless cycle of mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel about Minnesota. And that's how I feel about the Wild. But at the same time, I don't know enough about them to really. I do know this much. I did read an article the other day. I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I read an article about Minnesota's expiring contracts, and like Minnesota, the Wild are in a situation right now where it's like either you're going to win this year or you're going to be offloading a ton of people at the end of the year anyway. So if you're going to win, it's got to be now. So Minnesota, get it together. Let's win. How about that?
Bring Waffle home a title, Wild.
Bring me home a title. I used to. I had when I worked at Reebok back when Reebok it was the official sponsor of the NHL. I had that Minnesota Wild shirt that I used to wear to work. I wonder where
that was a sick shirt.
I think I gave that shirt to Trey.
I think you did. I can't remember.
Because it doesn't. I mean, obviously, that doesn't fit anymore. I've gained a ton of weight, but
you're right about that logo.
Nice shirt.
That logo is dope. I
love that logo.
Yeah, I remember the Wild too this year. I think it was the Wild and the Blues who are also playing now. Played that outdoor game. It was negative 30 degrees this year. I think that was them. So that's I have a lot of respect for the Wild for that too, because they're like, we're going to play an outdoor game in Minnesota in January. Let's go.
Right.
By the way, the Wild have not won a playoff series since the 2015 playoffs. When they beat the Blues, ironically, 4-2, but then they lost the second round to the Blackhawks and haven't won since. So
good.
Yeah. Go Wild.
Another good logo, simple, kind of cheesy because it's flames, but Calgary. I love that
Oh
logo.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I love that Calgary Flame logo.
I like the alternate that you see on their sleeves with the horse.
Yeah,
spitting fire. That's a low key, very good alternate logo.
Yes, their uniforms are gas too, like the blacks, and then they had those red, the old ones, the red and the yellows. Oh, yeah. Great, love those.
I was thinking of Jerome Aginla. That's all I think about because of backyard.
Every time.
All I think about is the Flames.
Every time.
The Kings and the Oilers, the battle of Wayne Gretzky. It looks like here tonight. Which Oilers again, I feel like Connor McDavid's he's turned that team around. Coming when the Oilers were garbage, and he's kind of turning them around. And I feel like he's one of those guys you see a lot where those rookies are kind of stuck trying to be the franchise leader, and nobody helps them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him down the road too. I said Pittsburgh, New York's a 3-1 lead for the Penguins. I feel like we talked about this. New York sports are sad, and the Rangers are continuing that right now. Washington and Florida. The Florida Panthers making the playoff just blows my mind because I remember when they were absolutely.
Oh, I remember when they were so bad.
Yeah, but apparently that's a lot. They have like a really good atmosphere too. They're kind of like the Nashville Predators, where they've kind of set up and have embraced the city's kind of embraced them.
Well, they've done a good job this year because they finished the season 58-18-6.
Yeah.
Which was the first in the Atlantic, and their coach got canned at the beginning of the year because he was the coach for the Blackhawks when when they won those titles, and then the scandal came out.
Yeah.
So they've done a good job of weathering the storm because all of a sudden their coach just had to, hit the road, Jack. And yeah.
So good for the Panthers. And of course, Dallas Stars take on Calgary. Dallas again. It's another weird team I don't feel like you ever hear about until they get to the Stanley Cup, and they somehow be really good every year because they won it one year, didn't they?
Yeah, they won the Stanley Cup. I think COVID.
Yeah, I think they won the COVID title.
They won the COVID Cup.
Yeah, so that's another team you never hear about. And it's like, oh yeah, Dallas is a team in hockey.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, they're really good actually. So
yeah,
So that's your hockey talk for the year, y'all.
But one thing, who sucks? Who's terrible?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the Arizona Coyotes.
Oh my God.
They are so bad. And they, for the most part of the season, they almost didn't have a home stadium, home arena. It's just a mess. And
because they didn't pay the rent.
It's awful.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I realize that Arizona's not a good place. I really just refuse to believe that Arizona is a place of quality living. And it's just look, Arizona State. I mean,
biggest party school in the country, but
that they have that stigma, which is fine. That's not a be all end all, but and then I always think about American Dad. American Dad used to joke about Arizona and Tucson being the armpit of God knows what, the Southwest, and just terrible. And then the Cardinals. Sure, you had Larry Fitzgerald, well respected, love him to death.
Did nothing wrong.
You had a career resurgence for Kurt Warner, and you came up a Santonio Holmes toe tap away from a Super Bowl. Okay, whatever. And then mediocre. Now you get back this year and questionable hire with Kingsbury. You got Kyler Murray. You blow it, and sad. Diamondbacks, sad. Gone are the days of Randy Johnson and Luis Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
Arizona is not a good place of living. It's not.
You got the Phoenix Mercury. That's about it. You got Diana Taurasi out there.
I refuse to believe it. And for the longest time, they did their own thing. They didn't even celebrate daylight saving time. What? Why, Arizona? Why not? I mean, I don't understand that now. I mean, obviously everybody's on the same schedule now because they're changing it, but why? Weird. Arizona, you're weird. And it's a dry heat. And I don't know if I'd like that. Maybe I like to sweat. You know what? It's whatever.
Looking at Arizona, by the way, if you want to know how bad they were, I didn't know how the Montreal Canadiens were also bad this year, but
They were.
But Arizona had finished the year with 57 points, 25 and 50 and 7. That was less points than the Seattle Kraken, who are an expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Coyotes, by the way, if you don't know, got moved to Arizona State's ice hockey arena, which holds 3,000 people.
Yeah.
So Arizona's going to be because they didn't pay the rent on their arena. So
sad.
That's how things are going in Arizona right now. Yikes.
The Coyotes remind me of. It's almost like kind of like the Tampa Bay Rays, but the Coyotes suck.
Yeah.
The Rays are actually good.
Yeah. The Rays are good. No one shows up. The Coyotes suck, and no one shows up for good reason.
Which is even worse. I mean, that's even worse. Like the Rays deserve to have some fans, and they're so good, and their stadium is so trash that nobody comes.
Exactly. So, that's your hockey talk. And all we conclude is that the Stanley Cup's awesome, and the Coyotes are horrible.
Yep.
As is the entire state of Arizona. So.
And the entire state of Arizona, stay away from it. And underlying topic, Montreal. Wow, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good.
Sorry, Richard. Aren't those your Canadians?
Yeah, I think they are. I don't know what I am right now. I think I'm a Hurricanes. I think I jumped on that bandwagon a few years ago.
Hey, well, if you go look at my Facebook post from 14 years ago, I was a Canucks fan. For what reason?
My God.
For what reason? I couldn't tell you. They had Henrik and Daniel. It was the Stenson brothers. I think
the Stenson brothers. Yeah.
And the goalie Roberto Luongo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just tried to pick a team, and then all of a sudden, my Facebook posts go from "darn you Boston Bruins" when they beat the Canucks in the Stanley Cup Finals to like "let's go wild." Like what happened?
Yeah, all I think about the Canucks is them going those riots after they lost to Boston in the finals. I was like, oh God.
I remember that vividly because I remember trying to talk smack to your all right, I can't remember the family designation. To Isaac.
Yeah.
To Isaac about freaking Boston because I was a Canucks fan.
Yeah. Oh man.
Stupid.
Good times. We'll move on to baseball, and again, as we said, none of these standings matter.
Nope.
Because this all can change. But the Braves are in second in the East at 14 and 16. They've got Ronald Acuna back. He's starting to look good. I mean, he had one of the nastiest home runs I've ever seen against the Brewers the other night.
Yeah, it was pretty dope.
Where he hit the King James celebration. Also hit one while falling down against them earlier in the series. Braves kind of going back and forth right now. Still trying to find their footing early. They lost the series to the Mets, lost the series to the Rangers, but did win a series over the Brewers, and now they're playing the Red Sox. Right now they're down 6-0 in the third. Never mind. Wow,
beautiful.
Okay. Good start to that series. But yeah, it's early again. As we said, none of this matters. The one team that everybody needs to pay attention to is the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, I was about to say.
God bless America. This team is bad, but are they? Because the Reds, out of nowhere, have won 2 in a row.
They have.
Again, they won 2 from the Braves to start of the year, split the series. Then they didn't win. I was on April 10th. They won their last game. Then they didn't win again until April 24th.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go to Pittsburgh, and they win a series from the Pirates. Good God, the Pirates are horrible. They won it 9-2 and 7-3 and lost 8-5. And then they just beat the Brewers last night 10-5. So they've won 3 of the last 4. So Reds, good? Question mark? Probably not. But you know what? It's fun to watch.
They're not good.
No, they are not. They are bad.
They're awful.
Yeah.
Once again, like I feel like I've already disrespected David enough with the Joel Embiid talk, but David, I'm sorry, bro.
This is just a David Turner slander episode.
Yeah, this is 100%. And you know what? I'm here for it. The Reds, after what they did in the offseason with their management offloading everybody, they deserve it. This is what you get. I mean, your payroll is like almost my salary that I make. Like, come on now. That's a joke, guys. I don't make that much money.
They're supposed to be getting Jonathan India back Rookie of the Year at some point. So, maybe they won't be completely horrible, but God, it's bad.
Yeah,
it looked bad. And but through the last 4, again, 2 of those wins over the Pirates, who,
Suck.
God.
They're awful.
The Pirates are down. The Pirates playing the Dodgers right now. They're down 7-0. Ew. They somehow beat the Dodgers yesterday. That's how stupid baseball is as a sport. But
look at how I know these standings don't matter, but look at the West. Look at the NL West. It's oddly very competitive. Everybody.
Yeah.
Like obviously we know Dodgers, Padres, Giants are all good, but then you got the Rockies and the Diamondbacks that are just kind of holding their own.
Yeah.
Obviously we're only 30 games into a 162 game season, but
I do like in the Central, you have the Brewers who are 19-11, who I think are a pretty good team. The Cardinals behind them 16-12. Okay, they're fine. And it just drops off to the Pirates, Cubs, and Reds just having fun out there and getting exercise, man.
Yeah, and the Mets are out here, winning the first half of the season championship and whatever. And then the rest of the NL East is just kind of fuddling around and who knows. But here we are with this NL East with the run differentials. The run differentials blow my mind.
Yeah.
Obviously, Washington, not great. Mets, okay, decent. Miami and Philadelphia, who both only have 13 wins, have a plus run differential. And the Braves have a minus run differential because why not?
Sure.
And but the Braves are in the same spot that they were last year, which is wild. Yeah. So I mean, that just leads back to our original point. None of this matters.
Exactly. The Braves didn't get hot until July, and it was after the All-Star game. Well, after the All-Star game.
Yes, but you want to know one thing that does matter?
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're only 31 games in. The Los Angeles Angels.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Are winning the AL West. Please, God. So for Shohei, for Mike Trout, get these guys some freaking hardware. Please.
God.
These guys can go down as the 2 best baseball players to ever play of all freaking time. And they might not win anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad. Please win them something.
Just give them just one division title. That's all I'm asking for.
But you see that the Angels are 20-11. Houston's right on their tails, winning 7 in a row because the Astros still exist, and we cannot have nice things.
Yeah.
But you know what? Which would you rather have? Would you rather have retribution for the Angels, or would you rather have the Mariners win a postseason series?
I was on the Mariners to make
it. You can't have both. You cannot have both.
God. That's a tough one.
Have both.
That is a very tough one. It's gonna be. What if this year the ALCS is the Angels and the Mariners? Just breaks everybody's brain.
God, that'd be beautiful. I would watch every second of every game.
I'd be all in. I don't care who wins it.
Yes, sir. I'm happy either way.
Yep.
It's going by the wayside. But the AL Central, the Royals and the Tigers suck as well.
Oh my God. The Royals won a World Series not that long ago, I feel like.
Royals won a World Series in 2015, and the Tigers played for one not long before that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a good thing the Chiefs got in good Kansas City because you'd be in that same boat as like Detroit.
Yeah, and there's just Detroit.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Detroit's just out here just going through life in misery and pain, and I guess the Michigan Wolverines are the only team you have now. So,
and even that's still not that great.
Exactly. And then meanwhile, the Yankees 20-8 again. Good team. This may not matter, but good team. So
yeah, sure.
The top 3 teams in that division, the Yankees, Rays, and Jays, all really good. If the Red Sox get together, they're gonna be good. So
yeah, my 2 goals for this season are for the Mariners to win the AL West and for the Orioles to finish with a better record than the Red Sox.
And they are 2 games up on them. So
I would be very happy because the
stop
Orioles,
the count. Stop the count.
I'll be at 12-17. The Orioles are terrible.
Yeah.
They're so bad.
Yeah, they are. God, that run differential is not great. They are 3-10 away. Ew.
Yeah.
You go on. The Tigers are too. God. Some of your Tigers away game, you just know that. I just love. I can't remember what team it was we talked about that was so bad at home that we were like, "What do you do if you're a season ticket holder for that team?" I think it was the Falcons.
Right.
I think it was the Falcons when they won like 1 or 2 games this year at home or something like that. We're like,
yeah.
you know, so much how it sucked to pay money for that.
Yeah. I'm looking for the anomalies here, and St. Louis has a better away record than home record, and the Cubs do as well. And the Nationals are 3-11 at home, and they're 7-9 on the road. Who have they played? I mean, they have to have like hosted the Dodgers and played the Reds on the road.
Yeah. Oh man.
Man.
Yeah. So yeah, that's baseball. We're actually going to go see the Braves this weekend, my guy. So it's gonna be
Yes, sir.
Down in Atlanta against the Padres. That should be fun to see.
Good time.
But yeah. Also want to close out NFL schedule was getting released this week. Which is going to be a lot of fun to see. Some games have already been released, like Monday Night Football, Week 2. It's a rematch of the Titans and the Bills from last year on Monday Night Football as well.
Yes,
that one's at 7:15, part of a doubleheader, so that should be a fun one. This one up in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be a fun game. And then also you get primetime Jalen Hurts versus primetime Kirk Cousins. I hope Joe Buck's calling this one too. Just throw it all together in one big stew at 8:30 on ABC.
Hooray.
Yeah. I also saw leaked Thanksgiving. Bills and Ravens is the night game for Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice. That'd be fun. Because the other Thanksgiving game is Broncos somebody.
Yeah. And one of the Christmas games is Rams. And,
maybe that's
Rams and Broncos because on
Nickelodeon. Christmas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's on Nickelodeon and CBS. So Nickelodeon's going to bring it back.
That still blows my mind. I can't believe they put a football game on Nickelodeon. It's so bad. It's so terrible. Like, do kids really like that? Like, I just.
Yeah, they're probably like, where's that?
I think back to if I was a kid, would I watch that? No. I want to watch SpongeBob.
I know. If you had SpongeBob commentate the game, all right.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Just play the Bang Geeks episode on loop.
Right.
Oh man. So yeah, I think that's gonna about do it. One of the bad things about summer, not a whole lot going on except for baseball and I guess the NBA playoffs when they end. I don't know what we're gonna talk about in the past.
NBA playoffs are pretty dope. I mean, technically we could talk about the USFL, but I honestly do not care. Nor have I watched more than 10 minutes of a game. I did see that Jeff Fisher's Michigan Panthers blew it. They Blair Walshed a game-winning field goal.
I saw that.
I did see that, which is pretty funny. But other than that, who cares?
Yeah,
I've said it time and time again. Like unless a new football league is going to be a direct developmental league for the NFL and have direct ties with the NFL, I'm not going to watch, and it's not going to last.
Yeah, for sure.
And I stand by that.
Oh, dude, I forgot. I just realized something happened while we haven't recorded. The NFL draft happened. We haven't talked anything about the NFL draft.
Oh yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Boy, do I have a lot to say.
Yeah, let's talk about what the Titans do in the draft, man. What are the Titans doing right now?
We need to have a live. I have a AJ Brown hoodie, and we need to burn it. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Oh, well, hold on. Let me regroup here. I need to pull up what I need to pull up. So obviously, the NFL draft was, what was it last week? No, week before last.
Yeah, week before last. Yeah,
week before last, and was a good time. I love the draft. The draft is like a national holiday for myself. I think it's great, and definitely a lot went down. That is for sure. If I can just pull up, God bless, I cannot pull up the picks. Draft tracker. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right. The NFL draft, April 28th. So heading into this NFL draft, we had heard for months that obviously Aiden Hutchinson was probably going to be the number one consensus, the consensus number one overall pick going to the Jaguars. The Jaguars threw a curveball and picked Travon Walker from Georgia, who I'm sure is also who is a heck of a football player. We know that. Anybody from that Georgia defense was. But it blows my mind. Literally, I hadn't even heard this dude's name until 4 days before the draft, and they're all of a sudden everybody's just like, yeah, Walker's going number one. Like, what changed? I don't get it.
Because I feel like he had a good combine, but it wasn't like, mind blowingly like, oh, this is great. Like, I don't know what happened there. Like
I don't know, his measurements just got everybody. And you know what? He could be a Hall of Famer. Who knows? That's the beauty of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he's going to Jacksonville, so I highly doubt it. But I sincerely hope Jacksonville drafted the biggest bust of all time. And now we move on to Detroit, and I think they got a steal with Aiden Hutchinson. I think that's going to be great. Obviously, it works out great for him. Hometown boy going to Detroit. And, as bad as Detroit still is, I really view Detroit as a promising place for football.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were the best, 0-8 team or 0-7-1 team or whatever last year.
Jared Goff is obviously a problem and not, your long-term solution.
No.
But I really like Dan Campbell, and I think that he can succeed as a head coach.
He got his team to buy in for sure.
Yeah, he got that team to buy in last year that was awful. So good for him. But I think this would be a great pick. Derek Stingley Jr. going to the Texans. They needed everything, and they're getting a good defensive back from LSU. Okay, fair.
By the way, also for the Texans, they just signed Jerry Hughes from the Bills. That was a pretty good agreement. So that's two big pickups for the defense, so they can get them to work out.
Yeah. The Jets picked up Sauce Gardner. Obviously, he had generated a lot of buzz as the draft approached and everything. I think he's going to be a great. I really hope he does good. I think he will be good. I'd like to see a kid like the kid from Cincinnati come out and do big things.
Oh, yeah.
Giants picking up Kayvon Thibodeau, great pick. He was, for the duration of the college football season, he was everybody's number one. So a good steal there for the Giants. Panthers bolstering up their offensive line with Akeem Ekwonu from NC State, keeping him in the state of North Carolina. So I guess good for the Panthers, but if he's blocking for Sam Darnold, it's not going to make a difference. And the Giants picked the other best tackle in Evan Neal from Alabama. So kind of same thing. If he's blocking for Daniel Jones, I really don't know how much of a difference it's going to make, but those two picks for the Giants at 5 and 7, I like that.
Yeah, Giants, that's a good draft, I think.
Yeah. Atlanta Falcons in desperate need of wide receivers after obviously Calvin Ridley is suspended for the whole season, and they really just don't have anybody. Yeah. They draft Drake London out of USC. I don't really know a whole lot about him.
He's fine
after dark, but
he's quick. He's not big. But I feel like you could have gotten, and you saw it 2 picks later, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave.
Yeah. You could
also James Williams also there. Yeah. I think there were better receivers on the board, but I think he's solid. I don't know if he's going to be great, especially with who knows who's throwing to him, because Desmond Ridder got drafted by the Falcons. So
that's true.
Now it's interesting to see who's going to be throwing to him.
Right. Seahawks drafting a tackle, Charles Cross from Mississippi State. So drafting a tackle for them to add their next new running back behind, which is ridiculous. Seattle drafts running backs like it's I don't know what. And why do they draft running backs? Who knows? And the Jets picked up Garrett Wilson. Love that pick. 2 skill players with Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. Really do like that. But I mean, they are all in on Zach Wilson, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, very interesting to see what happens with them.
Yeah, Olave goes to the goes to the Saints after they trade up with Washington.
Saints
to snag him.
Doing some moves. Got Tyrann Mathieu. Locked down Jameis. Yeah, locked down Jameis Winston. Yeah. Saints might be doing some moves here. I mean, they weren't horrible last year without Jameis Winston. It's just which Jameis Winston.
Jameis before he blew his knee out was pretty good.
Exactly. So hopefully you get that Jameis Winston back, and You got these weapons for you. They might be a solid team down New Orleans. So
he could give Tom Brady some fits down in the NFC South.
The Saints have given the Bucs fits since Tom Brady's got to that team. So
right. The Minnesota Vikings trade with their division rival, allowing Detroit to pick up Jameson Williams, which I think is a fantastic pick. I love that. For the Lions, I think that's really exciting. A playmaker, obviously coming off a big injury. But shoot, we'll see.
Yeah.
This next pick, I really like this pick. Philadelphia Eagles trading up to draft Jordan Davis out of Georgia. I just whoever got him was going to get a stud. I mean, the dude's unreal. He's so athletic, but he's also massive. It's ridiculous.
His speed is wild. Like a guy that big should not move that quick. It's insane.
Yeah. Baltimore Ravens at 14, picking Kyle Hamilton, the best safety in the draft out of Notre Dame.
I love that pick.
I do too. Kyle Hamilton's good, man.
Yeah. There's a play against Florida State where he
comes all the way across
the field to make a pick. It's
so good.
At that point, because the Bills were down lower, of course, they ended up trading up and they needed some DB or safety or something. And Hamilton hadn't gone off the board yet. I was like, they might try to trade up to get him. But when I saw the Ravens guy, I was like, that's a great pick. That's the guy I really wish would fall to Buffalo, or Buffalo would try to trade up more to get to him for sure.
Yeah. Houston going with Kenyon Green, inside line, or a guard out of Texas A&M, to
help Davis Mills out. So
help everything out that they need.
Yeah.
The Commanders, after trading down, get Jahan Dotson from Penn State to go alongside of Terry McLaurin as they bring in Carson Wentz. So we'll see how that goes. And the Chargers pick up Zion Johnson, who's a guard from Boston College. So some more protection for Justin Herbert and crew. And then we get to pick 18, which is it was the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm in the kitchen I'm cleaning up because I'd made food. And Titans weren't supposed to pick till 26. So, I had time. I was cleaning.
Yeah.
Washing dishes. And Malik's like, hey, bro, get in here. And I was like, huh? And I turned around and went in there, and it was like Tennessee has traded up to 18. And I was like, oh, okay. I wonder what we're doing. And then it flashed across the screen that Tennessee has traded up to 18. They have acquired the 18th overall pick in exchange for Arthur Juan Brown, wide receiver, Tennessee Titans. And oh man, I had to go on the back porch for this one, shouting obscenities at the sky. At first, jerk reaction. At first, I hated it. I freaking love AJ Brown, and there's been so many good memories in his 3 years in Tennessee. From his rookie year in 2019, his first touchdown catch I always remember against the Falcons with Mariota throwing to him, and he had his first game ever. He had 3 catches for 100 yards. It was a great game. It was against the Browns. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then. So we would go through that season, make an AFC Championship game, had a really good rookie year, comes out the next year, gets over 1,000 yards, just has play after play. He has that fantastic play against the Ravens where he bulldozes his way to the end zone, breaks about 6 tackles in the regular season against the Ravens to get the touchdown there. So many good memories. And even this year, that play, the touchdown catch against Cincinnati to tie the game after Amani Hooker's interception, and the throw from Ryan Tannehill, the one-handed catch and double coverage from AJ Brown, and the crowd reaction are the 3 components for a unreal sports moment. And that will always live in my head. And I hate to see him go. But after digesting it, after literally, I was on Twitter for the next 2 hours trying to see takes from people I follow that cover the Titans. And all this kind of stuff of the Titans Twitter community and just seeing the jerk reaction and all this kind of stuff and waiting to finally hear something from Vrabel or from John Robinson or to hear something from AJ Brown. I had AJ Brown's tweets on a notification bell before he got traded because AJ Brown has a habit of tweeting stuff and deleting it. So I always wanted to make sure I saw it, and I liked hearing him tweet because he always spoke his mind. Just waiting to hear from anybody. And after letting it digest, I get it.
Yeah,
I 100% get it. Tennessee had concerns with Brown being injured, which albeit he wasn't like a completely lost cause as far as injuries. Like injuries didn't plague his career. He's obviously had a really great career to this point, which just goes to show by the fact that the Philadelphia is paying him $100 million over the course of 4 years. Where I do have an issue, it's literally AJ Brown's on record of saying he wants to be a Titan for life. Obviously, that's not the case anymore. Vrabel was on the record as of 2 weeks ago. As long as he's the head coach, we're not dealing him. Obviously, things change.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to pay him. And I can respect it. So, it is what it is. Eagles got a good one. I hope he does well. And I hate to see him go. But Tennessee drafts his replacement, Traylon Burks from Arkansas. Oddly enough, his player comparison is AJ Brown. So here we go. Whatever. I like the pick a lot. I wanted us to go wide receiver anyway, even if we would have kept AJ. It just kind of, I don't know. At first, it was just kind of like, okay, we traded our best receiver away to draft another receiver, and I was just kind of like, all right. Excuse me. And then I didn't know this at the time, but you get down. Tennessee still had the 26th overall pick, and they ended up trading back to acquire more picks. So either way, I like Traylon Burks. I hope he comes in and does good, but I feel so sorry for him because of the situation that he's coming into. Because obviously, if he comes out and he sucks for 2 games, he's never going to hear the end of it.
Yep.
Never going to hear the end of it. And I hate that for him. Mm-hmm. And I hope he's got a good head on his shoulders, and I hope that he can handle pressure because he's already under it.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be looking at him. It's make or break.
Yeah.
This is a massive decision, and it has to pay off for Tennessee.
Yeah, it's super unfair to Burks. I think he's a great player. He's part of the reason Arkansas had that turnaround so quickly.
Yep.
Man, that's a lot of pressure on you straight out
into
a team.
It's a lot of pressure too, just with I'm sure Burks will feel pressure from the whole Ryan Tannehill situation because obviously you got people on both sides of it. You got people who think Tannehill, still can be the guy, and you got other people who are just like they should have moved on already.
Yeah.
So with Tannehill coming out being QB1 this year, it's gonna be a lot. I just pray that Derrick Henry stays healthy and he can just keep running the football. So
yeah.
Anywho, Saints draft Trevor Penning, a tackle from Northern Iowa. Good to see little FCS guy getting his first round draft pick. Love that. Yeah. The Steelers taking old hometown boy Kenny Pickett. So very, very excited for that. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. I love Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
I hope he does really good. Chiefs getting a cornerback from Washington, Trent McDuffie.
Bills to get. I was disappointed. Chiefs still away something for me once again for the second year in a row. Big fan.
Sad
of that.
Yeah. Packers draft a Georgia linebacker, but it's not Nakobe Dean. It is Quay Walker. Bills. Sorry, go ahead.
Packers don't draft a wide receiver again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had one just leave.
Yeah, so. I know a ton of them got traded. A ton of them got picked up already because everybody started getting wide receiver happy.
Yeah.
Once that first one went off the board, once Drake London went off the board, and then you literally had 3 of them go back to back to back. Everybody was like, panic mode. We got to get them now.
Mm-hmm.
But and then we moved to 23 where the Bills pick up Florida cornerback Kyer Elam. Richard, thoughts?
I like it. I really thought, I think Stingley, Hamilton, and McDuffie were your best safeties and corners out there.
Yeah.
But the Bills needed that. They couldn't lock down Levi Wallace. And, of course, you saw how the season ended last year. You need some of that help if Trey White goes down or somebody else goes down, like a Jordan Poyer or somebody goes down like that. And I think Kyer Elam was the best guy available. And so, like you said, I think we talked about this. You want to get the best available or the best available at that position that you need. That's really the only position the Bills needed.
Yeah.
Maybe running back was also another one we talked about. But, again, you don't need to draft a running back the first round. I don't think you can find whoever you want later.
Yes, I agree.
Especially that position. But, I like Kyer Elam. Was some of the bright spots on a Florida team that wasn't great at times. Was a good lockdown guy. He did very well against Alabama, I feel like, in one of those meetings they had against them. He's solid. I think he's great. Again, he's going to have a guy like Trey White to talk with him and look up to. And plus, the last time the Bills drafted the DB in the first round was Trey White. So maybe it'll work. Good track record, SEC guy too. So maybe it'll work out. Hopefully it does. And, hopefully that can just bolster up this defense, which again has just added on pieces this offseason. So
yeah, for sure. I like the pick. I had heard a lot of good things about him. So just making that Buffalo defense hopefully even more nasty.
Yeah.
Moving on, Cowboys at 24, taking Tyler Smith, the tackle out of Tulsa. This one was kind of not controversial, but I feel like a lot of teams didn't want to touch this guy. And it turns out Dallas is the team that wanted to touch him. So we'll see how that goes.
I think also the Giants got Evan Neal, and that's who the Cowboys wanted. And of course, didn't ball there. So,
yeah. Baltimore Ravens get new center and Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa. I heard a lot of things about this guy too, about him being too small, but we'll see how that goes. And the Jets picked up. I think the Jets had a great first round.
Jets, really
they drafted 3 skill positions. I mean, if you want to call defensive end a skill position, but the Jets traded with Tennessee. Tennessee trades back, acquires more picks. Jets take Jermaine Johnson II, a defensive end from Florida who was high on a lot of draft boards, as far as what I saw. Jacksonville picks up Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah with 27th pick. The Packers pick up another defensive product, the defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt from Georgia. So 2 Bulldogs in the first round for the Packers. The Patriots reach down to the FCS ranks and take a Chattanooga product in Cole Strange, a guard. So I would hope
Bill Belichick's just going to find whoever he wants to and turn him into a stud. He did that with Kyle Duggar with the Lenore Ryan a few years ago, drafted in the first round. Now this guy from Chattanooga, who's from Knoxville, which is kind of cool to see, but just it's the island misfit toys. Bill Belichick finds a way to make it work almost every single year. And it's insane. It's insane.
Kansas City at 30 drafts George Karlaftis, an edge from Purdue. Cincinnati gets safety help with Daxton Hill from Michigan, and Minnesota. The Vikings pick Lewis Seen, another safety from Georgia. So that rounds out your first round, and then I would like to just go through who Tennessee picked up overall.
Gotcha.
So Tennessee got Traylon Burks in the first round. Obviously, we know that. Making that wide receiver room look like obviously Bobby Trees, the new addition coming off of ACL, Traylon Burks, and then I guess Nick Westbrook-Akina. So comparing that to AJ Brown, I mean, obviously you're definitely not better than what the wide receiver room was at the moment. But I guess there's promise. But and then Tennessee picks early in the second round at pick 35, and they pick Roger McCreary, a cornerback out of Auburn. Kind of a head scratcher for me, but best available. I'm guessing best available here. It's a guy they liked. I mean, it is what it is. I don't guess you can never have enough corner depth and secondary depth. So I'm fine with it. They do pick in the third round, late in the third round, another offensive tackle from Ohio State, Nicholas Petit-Frere, will now be a Tennessee Titan. And also in round 3, the Tennessee Titans pick possibly their quarterback of the future. They take Malik Willis, quarterback from Liberty. And to see him fall this far was crazy. I could not believe that Tennessee ended up with him. But this was the start of a chain reaction of events that I am just so over, and I'm tired of hearing about it. Ryan Tannehill finally talked to the media, which we haven't heard from Ryan Tannehill since before the playoff loss. And, Tannehill came out and did all these interviews when he came back to OTAs or whatever they're having, whatever it's called. And he basically he laid it all on the table saying, after that playoff loss, like he went into a dark place. Obviously, the fans were on him, the media's on him. After that loss, everything points to him, like it's on him with the 3 interceptions, which I mean is fair. But Tannehill battled his demons. Seems like he might have got himself back in the right headspace, and he did what was necessary to get through it. And he laid it all on the table. Props to him for doing that. I still ride with Ryan Tannehill, but now they draft Malik Willis, and he gets asked a question basically like, is he going to mentor Malik Willis? And this answer got blown every which way and got misconstrued 7 times over. Ryan Tannehill said that he doesn't think it's his job to mentor Malik Willis. And every media outlet thought that he stopped right there.
Yeah.
And in reality, he said that, he doesn't think it's his job to mentor Malik Willis, but he essentially said, we're under the same roof. We're learning the same stuff. We're going to be spending a lot of time together. And if he learns something from me, that's great. And at the end of the day, had he come out and just said, I'm not going to mentor him. Is it his job to mentor him? Richard, do you think?
I don't think so. I think Ryan Tannehill's job is to win games as a starting quarterback right now. Now, I get Titans for the future, Malik Willis, and you probably want him talking to him, want him to learn stuff from him. I get that. But I can see why Tannehill is the starting guy. And I think, Tennessee's in him for at least a couple of years.
Yeah.
They gave him that money a while back. So I think he's the guy. But also, I think this is a good spot for Willis because I wasn't sold on Willis because Willis has a lot of the raw talent that Josh Allen had.
Yeah.
And, it took Josh Allen a while to develop. Now, Josh Allen was a different situation because we had Nathan Peterman.
Yeah.
That couldn't work out. So you had to throw him out there and just say, hey, sink or swim, go, Josh, go. And he figured it out super quick.
Right.
And now everybody, I think, wants Malik Willis to be like, oh, he's going to figure it out super quick. He's going to throw him out in the water. He's going to figure it out. I don't think you can't do that with him, I don't think.
Yeah.
You can't do that with every quarterback. So
right. It is a good situation, I believe, for Malik Willis because he's not going to get thrown into the starting job. Now, obviously, if Ryan Tannehill stinks it up and throws 15 interceptions,
then you have to.
Then
it's like Justin Fields. It's like Justin Fields' situation in Chicago.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton wasn't getting it done. You had to throw it.
Yeah, but it'll be best for Malik Willis to get a year under his belt and to learn from the coaches and Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Learn different things, and then he'll be ready to go.
Yeah, but I don't think it's directly Tannehill's job to teach him.
And I don't think
college where, in college, you rotate in and out, all that stuff. But even you see it now. I mean, at Clemson, they're going to have a quarterback battle with the K. Klubnik and DJ Uyunglele.
Right.
It's not DJ's job to teach K. Klubnik the playbook because DJ wants to go out there and start and play.
Yeah.
So if you use that comparison, which is a similar comparison,
I just think that, my first reaction to that question or to that statement is that's why there are coaches. Coaches are ultimately there to teach these guys, and they should be the ultimate mentors. But what I think gets lost in this whole thing is that while, Ryan said that he doesn't think it's his job to mentor him, that he did not come out and say, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. He never came out and straight up said, I'm not going to teach him anything.
He just said it. He just said it's not my job. And I don't, Ryan Tannehill does not strike me as the kind of guy that's going to come out and just be like, no, I'm not going to mentor you. Right. We're going to be in the same quarterback room. And we're going to be doing all this crap together, but I'm not going to talk to you.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. I think it just got so misconstrued. I'm so tired of it.
Yeah.
And everybody, it's like, God, it never fails. This is the kind of crap I talk about. Like, this is why it makes me so upset sometimes and so freaking frustrated to be a Titans fan, because I clamor for media recognition. and Tennessee, I think it's been warranted. I mean, Tennessee made the AFC Championship game,
number 1 seed,
and then had a fantastic year after that. And then last year won the number 1 seed, albeit, that being controversial as well. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
And I clamor for all this media attention, and then we get the media attention for all the wrong freaking reasons. Obviously, we lose to the Bengals and can't live that down. And now the subject of the past 2 weeks has been this. They talked about it on every single ESPN show. They talked about it on every single Fox Sports 1. Everybody who has an opinion, which shocking is everybody, has weighed in theirs on this Ryan Tannehill situation. And you've got some people who, react to it like we have just now. And you've got some people out there who, like Gardner Johnson, the defensive back from the Saints, that has come out and publicly said, I hope that Willis takes his job because Ryan Tannehill is like a bum. And I'm just like, are you stupid? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Anyway, Malik Willis is a Tennessee Titan, and I'm excited about that for the value that they're going to get him at. I think it's going to be great. And you know what? If Tannehill sucks it up this year and Malik Willis gets a year under his belt, kick Tannehill to the curb and let's run the Malik Willis show if he's ready.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll be good for him to get some training because, again, he's like the Josh Allen situation, didn't play a lot of great teams. Of course, Liberty was even worse because they weren't even in a conference and had to play whoever would schedule them. Good for Malik Willis. I think he's got a lot of raw talent. I think he's got a lot of that raw Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson type talent. I know he's going to get compared to both of them his entire career because he plays like them. But, I think it would be unfair for if the Texans would have drafted a team that's like, we need a quarterback right now, or like the Giants, like, we need a quarterback right now. We have no future plan.
Yeah.
Malik, go out there. I think this is good. I think it's good. I think it's smart for teams to have waited on him. And, I think this is a solid situation for him to be in. So,
yeah, I agree. Quickly through the rest of them. Round 4, Titans pick up Hassan Haskins, the running back out of Michigan. I love that pick.
I know. Me too.
He's not as big as Derrick Henry, but I feel like he runs and has the same mentality. They pick up Chigoziem Okonkwo. Wow, that's gonna be hard to say. They pick up Okonkwo from Maryland, a very athletic tight end, which I think has a lot of Jonnu Smith written all over him, which I think would be great. They pick up Kyle Phillips from UCLA, the wide receiver. I think that's going to be great. I'm very excited about that as well. So that wide receiver room with Traylon Burks, Bobby Trees, Kyle Phillips, Nick Westbrook-Akina. I like that.
There's a lot of speed in that room too. It sounds like. So that's gonna be a quick team.
Yeah. And then Theo Jackson, a cornerback from Tennessee, picking a home state boy. And Tennessee, they just couldn't stand it. They had to draft a linebacker, and they did.
At least they waited to the last pick of their
yeah.
Not in the first round.
Yes, that's fair. All right. But anyway, so that's the Titans draft. And we'll run through the Bills as well really quick. Bills obviously got Kyer Elam, and Richard, take it away, sir.
Yeah, so they traded a bunch to the Bills. They traded up for a lot of these guys, traded down for a lot of these guys. They traded down in the second round to get James Cook, running back out of Georgia. That's what I said. They need to get a running back. They wanted Breece Hall out of Iowa State. I believe he was off the board by that point, so they traded up for Cincinnati to get to him. And James Cook, that's a solid pick, I think, for them. Round 3, they get Terrell Bernard from Baylor, a linebacker. Looks like he's a solid player as well, kind of big, long body. So, again, building up that defense again. Hopefully he's a guy to come in and sub in some packages for you. Round 5, they pick up Khalil Shakir from Boise State. This kid I'm excited about. He is quick. He's a quick wide receiver. Was part of those pretty good Boise State teams that made some runs to the Mountain West these past few years. And then round 6, the pick of the draft, the steal of the draft. The punt god, Matt Ariaza, is coming to Buffalo. The greatest punter in the history of NCAA football, statistically. from San Diego State. I am very excited about this. I don't know why we picked up a punter because I thought punting was fine last year, but
who's your punter? Is it? It's not Bojorquez.
Bojorquez got traded. I think it was Cole Hawkins. I think something like that. He was fine.
Yeah.
But no, this is a good pick too because punting since Bojorquez
you can't pass up a generational talent.
Oh, exactly. I mean, this guy can punt. This guy can hold. This guy can do your taxes. He can do it all. I mean, come on. The punt guy is in Buffalo. Legit excited about that. He's got a boot on him. It'll be interesting to see though, because San Diego to Buffalo, that's a big climate change difference too.
It is a big climate change.
But it'll be interesting about December if I'm singing his praises again if he punts one 15 yards straight into the air. So we'll see how that. They pick up Christian Benford, a corner from Villanova. I've heard a lot about this kid actually. He seems to be kind of quick. Coming from a smaller school, so interesting to see how it works out again, building up that defense again. Luke Tenuta from Virginia Tech, offensive tackle. I feel like that's another issue the Bills could have looked at again, looked at more offensive line guys because Josh Allen. There's some games where the offensive line just struggled. Again, the offensive line was banged up last year, but at least this adds depth, if nothing else, to this team. And then round 7, last pick, you'll love to see it. A Clemson player goes to the Buffalo Bills. Balin Spector, the brother of Braylon Spector, and you got to remember second inspector, maybe. Second inspector on offense. But Balin Spector, he's solid. He could be a good special teams guy, I feel like, for the Bills. He's just so fast. He's not big, so that's going to be kind of tough for him probably to find a spot on a roster because he's so small. But I like Balin Spector. He can fly around. Overall, the one you wanted was guy you wanted while it was a Kyrie Elam, but that was the position you needed to fill. Right. And of course, you have Benford as a backup if you need to. And again, you could probably find somebody in free agency if you need to. So the Bills had a solid draft.
Yeah, for sure. A couple things I just want to mention real quick is South Carolina tight end Nick Muse did get drafted in the 6th round, in the 7th round by the Vikings. Your Mr. Irrelevant is Brock Purdy, whose final college moments were
the greatest perception.
Wait. His final college moments, no pun intended, were not Purdy. Anyway, but do they still give him like a trip to Hawaii or something like that?
I think he gets a trip to Hawaii. So yeah,
good for him. The Chargers drafted a fullback from Purdue. We love that. Xander Horvath with the 260th pick in the draft. Big fans.
Yeah,
solid draft. Round 1 was crazy, and which we knew it was going to get crazy, and it kind of round 1 amped up when kind of around the time when the first wide receiver was drafted.
Yeah,
when they took Drake London off the board, everything just went to hell because everybody got wide receiver crazy with 10, 11, 12. Jordan Davis went higher than expected, I believe, and then obviously the AJ Brown thing rocked my world and everybody else.
And the one trade we didn't talk about, Marquise Hollywood Brown going to the Ravens. Didn't talk about that a lot, and Lamar Jackson's not happy about that. So
no, Lamar Jackson's not happy about that, but he goes to Arizona, and now he's with his college quarterback, Kyler Murray. That could be very interesting.
Exactly. So now Arizona, you got that. I mean, Nuke Hopkins gets suspended. By the way, we haven't talked about that.
Oh yeah, my God, that's
6
crazy.
games, which I'm very intrigued to see about that because I feel like, the timeline I feel like makes sense though, because he was out when he got tested for that. Yeah. So maybe something happened when he got surgery or something got in his body. Hopefully, I don't think Nuke Hopkins is a guy that needs steroids or anything like that. I mean, my God, look at
it's always a gray area. Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, just general craziness in the NFL. This has been probably the craziest NFL offseason in a while. I mean, it started off with all the trades that started off and Tom Brady being like, you know what, I'm coming back. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, how about Tom Brady's Fox deal?
Yeah.
Tom Brady's got that deal with Fox to be one of the lead analysts for it's a 10-year deal for $300 and some odd million.
He's going to make more. He's going to make more money in 10 years announcing than he would in his entire, as of right now, his entire playing career. And
I think I think that's going to be awesome. I
Oh,
think
he's gonna be so
I
good.
think he's going to be fantastic.
He is like, I hate the guy on the field, but his Twitter is one of the best because he speaks his mind, and also he's really funny. But he knows a lot. Like, and he
could have a career story arc just like Tony Romo. I hated Romo and I loved to make fun of him, but as soon as he got in the booth, I freaking loved Tony Romo.
Loved him. So yeah, looking at like the future of broadcasting, you have, of course, right now you have Nance and Romo from CBS, which is my favorite pairing right now. When we talk about that, Amazon, Kirk Herbstreit, now Michaels.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Good for Thursday night. Good. That's gonna be really good.
Cannot wait for that. I still love CBS Iron Eagle all day.
Oh, Iron Eagle.
Put him with whoever. I don't care.
Whenever Nance hangs it up, which is gonna be a while, of course. Just at some point, just move Nance to golf permanently. Yeah. Bring in Iron Eagle with Tony Romo together. Yeah. I think that would be amazing. But Iron Eagle, what we put with is great.
Iron Eagle also calling these playoff basketball games.
Oh, so good.
Amazing.
So good. Call the tournament games too for NCAA. Amazing. Just give me all the Iron Eagle. Like, he is legit. Probably my favorite announcer right now.
Yeah. I do like Kevin Burkhardt, the lead guy on Fox, who's going to be with Brady. I think that'll be a really good pairing. Obviously, Gus Johnson's been doing a whole lot more stuff with the NFL too.
Yeah,
which is always good to see. I think Gus Johnson can bring energy to any situation in sports. So,
yeah. Then of course you have Buck and Aikman. Now here's my question. I'm wondering this: with Buck and Aikman now on Monday Night Football, do the Cowboys get America's Game of the Week every week now? Because you don't have the Aikman connection now,
right?
Because I feel like that's the only reason they got it.
But I feel like just because the Cowboys are the Cowboys and they have fans literally everywhere.
I mean, it's
just they're gonna get it. It's them, Cowboys fans, Steelers fans, and a little bit of 49ers fans. Like, you can find them. We live in South Carolina. You can find them everywhere in South Carolina.
Yeah. Like, you pick those three teams. Heck, like Eagles fans at some point. And
go downtown, wherever, downtown Greenville, downtown Spartanburg, downtown Greenwood. And you will find somebody's got a car with a Dallas Cowboys star or a Pittsburgh Steelers logo on it.
Yeah, 100%. It's all going to be Steelers Cowboys. Even the Steelers are horrible. You'll see it. Yeah. So yeah, that Monday Night Football pair I think is going to be kind of interesting to see how they go. How it's something different. Joe Buck is calling PGA Tour. I don't know if you saw it, PGA Championship. He's going to do like a Manning cast for that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how that looks. I don't know who's going to bring in to talk with him. I don't know if he's going to bring like the Mannings actually in or what, but that'll be interesting to see what he does. I don't know if you saw this too. I think it was Anish Shroff's the radio voice for the Carolina Panthers now. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he's really good. Adam Amin too is a guy at Fox that's really good. He's done a lot for the. He does baseball stuff too for Fox. So. It's really good. So draft. It's crazy. Can't believe we forgot about it. It's been so busy the past 2 weeks. You want to know why it's been busy the past 2 weeks? Your boy done graduated, son.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Got a second degree. There's nothing in here, by the way. That's kind of whack, but you know what?
Yeah.
It says congratulations. What's funny is my professor didn't even put my final grade in, and I had a good grade in class. Finished with 92 in there. But I was like, man, what if someone was needing this class to pass? And they're like, all right, I'm going to just walk up here and we're going to see what happens Monday.
Holy crap.
Yeah. But no, glad to be done with that. Just a lot of hard work there for school. A lot of great friends and memories made at Carson Newman for sure. And now we'll see what is next. So please hire me if you're listening.
Yes, sir.
Please hire your boy for a full-time job for sure. I think me walking across the stage might be my play of the week if we want to use that. If you got anything that kind of stood out for you?
I got one as far as like play of the week. Lander Greenwood. Lander hosted the PBC softball tournament this past weekend. Lander ultimately did not win. They lost in the semis to Columbus State. But in the quarters on the first night, Saturday night, Lander played Aiken. And Lander's Haven Pass first baseman, senior, hit a walk-off, no doubt home run. And she, off the bat, she absolutely knew it was gone. And you can see I'm gonna put in the video that was from an angle from the stands where you can see her hit it and she just throws her hands up and she just knew it was gone. But a really good moment. Ultimately, sad the next day when they lost and their season's over, but a good moment for her being one of the seniors for Lander, and capping off a really nice career at Lander with one of Lander's best softball seasons in a while. So also Lander women's basketball hiring new basketball coach. The departure of Kevin Pedersen going to Coastal Carolina now brings in Stephanie. I haven't heard anybody say her name, but Stephanie Gelhausen is what I'm assuming it is.
Yeah, that's what it looks
She
like.
was head assistant at Ashland University, which is a school that has won a couple national titles in the past like 8 or 10 years. And she was like top assistant of the year in the country for 2021 or something like that. So
or something like that.
Yeah. Younger girl or younger lady. So I think she's going to be great. I hope she does great at Lander, and I'm excited for her future.
Yeah, for sure. That's a heck of a hire. We talked about that off the air. That was going to be a national church we thought, and it really was. So good for Lander there. So week I'm going up to, I think I'm going up. I'm not sure. Got to find confirmation. I'm going up to see Carson in softball on Thursday in the NCAA regional. They play North Georgia in the first round game, so should be a good battle. Carson Newman's kind of an up and down season, but possibly made the NCAA tournament. So good for the Eagles there. So, and then of course we're going to Atlanta, my dude. So it's going to be fun time for sure. So thank y'all for listening, watching, whatever. And again, please hire me, people. Please hire me. It's cold world out here. I like to make money. Appreciate y'all, and hope y'all see y'all sometime soon.